Why do you have an inability to focus? There's a saying I teach as a corporate trainer is if they're not moving, they're not listening. And just because I'm talking to you, just because you're giving the screen eye contact does not mean that you're listening to me. Most human beings have an inability to focus. And focus is a superpower today on the planet Earth. Because if you can focus, you are now different than most human beings, but you're also cloaked because they're not going to know that you have the ability to focus. Now, the better you can focus on any situation, the more effective and efficient you'll be at it. You've heard of undivided attention or divided attention. You want to have that undivided attention, that ability to really zero in. And I'm going to give you some keys into understanding in this video why we have trouble focusing, but also how to focus better. The first one I want to give you is a metaphor called super saturation. Do you think they put any science into processed food? Do you think the better that the processed food tastes, the more likely you are to buy it? Probably and probably, right? So if they put science in the food becomes super saturated with taste. So it lights up my taste buds, and the better it tastes, the more likely I am to buy it, the more money they make. Do you think the apps on your phone are super saturated? Do you think what you watch on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Netflix, Amazon Prime, HBO, Hulu are super saturated? Everything is super saturated and everything wants a piece of us. So our brains have an inability to focus because everything is vying for our attention. It's like we have all of these apps saying, hey, me here, hey, check this out, check out this. Every time we look at one, we get a little reward called a dopamine hit. We get this little dopamine hit as we go in this different direction. So most human beings have an inability to focus. This is the thinking line and this is the listening line. So you might be listening to me right now up in the listening line, but then when you're thinking, you're missing what I'm saying. And then you go back up to the listening line and then you come back to the thinking line. So you're in, you're out, you're in, you're out, you're in, you're out. We vacillate. All human beings do this. We're in, we're out, we're in, we're out, we're in, we're out. So when you're present, you're paying attention. When you're present, you're listening. And when you're present, you're connecting. I talk about love quite a bit in these videos. And for me, love is a creative force. But when it comes down to human beings, love is the need for connection or acceptance or trust. There's a lot of aspects to love. But when you connect with somebody, you have influence. When you don't connect with them, you don't have influence. So if you're busy thinking while somebody's sitting next to you and they're talking, you're not connecting. It's kind of like if you imagine a superhero like the Green Arrow or maybe Falcon or Hawkeye that has an arrow. When you talk to somebody, if they're not listening, it bounces right off of their face. But if you're listening, it stitches in and you start stitching with the person based upon your ability to listen. So one of the things I talk about is curiosity, which is a hack. So if I'm watching television with my wife, who do you think has control of the remote control? Her or me? If you said me, you are wrong. She has control of the remote control. Am I watching her show or my show? If you said her show, you are right. Am I all in or part in? I am part in. I'm not that curious, but I love her, so I'll watch it with as much curiosity as I possibly can. But then she leaves. Now, at the risk of my life, I grab that remote control and I watch the show. Am I all in or part in? I'm all in because I'm curious. So when you learn to be curious, it holds you in the present moment and you're paying attention. So curiosity is an emotional trait that we can learn. Simply by tipping my body forward, I become more curious. When I lean in, I become more curious. So when you can be genuinely curious about people, it keeps you present with them. Human beings have a need to feel significant. So when you're curious, not weirdly curious, but covertly curious, it makes the other person feel significant. The one story we can hear 100% of the time is our own story. So connection makes us feel alive. In this world today, we're connecting this way. We're connecting so many different ways, but connection is something that fills us inside. It makes us feel warm. It makes us feel safe. So supersaturation is the metaphor. The average human brain loses its attention 7 to 11. In the US, there's a store called 7 to 11. One of the reasons is because our brain is all over the place. When you have an undivided attention, you have the ability to focus, and this is the superpower in the world today. And when you listen to people or you hack curiosity to stay present, it's going to make them feel significant. It's going to make them feel heard. It's going to make them feel seen. So when you understand this, awareness is understanding. And when you understand it, it can liberate you to be better at focusing, which will be a game changer in your life. Because the more focused you are, the more efficient and effective you are at everything. See you soon.